morning. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Sorry for a few minutes delay. Good morning. Okay, so hi Piyush. Yeah. Did I give any lab? Did you finish all your labs? Fantastic. Fantastic. Very good. Okay, so without any further delay, let's move on to the next topic. So today's topic is S3. So let me share my screen. So guys, can you confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay, so S3. So we have learned quite a bit on S3 already. Let's have a shoot around on S3. S3. What is the full form of S3? That's a certification question. Yes, Vandana. Simple Storage Service. What's that? Simple Storage Service. Sorry. S3 is what based storage? I'm listing down on what we have learned already. Okay. So S3 is object based storage. In S3, what kind of files that you can store? You can store only flat files. You can store only flat files. Okay. So what do we do with S3? You can upload, download and access files from S3, right? Okay. So in S3, you can only upload, download and access files from S3. Okay. Is it possible to execute any files in S3?
No.
The files in S3 cannot be executed. Is it possible to install operating system, database, etc. on S3?
No.
You cannot install OS, DB, etc. in S3. No. Is it possible to attach S3 to EC2 instance?
Yes.
No. But can you
No.
access it? Yes. So you cannot attach S3 to EC2 like volume, no, EC2 instance, but you can access S3 from EC2 instance. S3 is limited storage or unlimited storage?
Unlimited.
S3 is unlimited storage. What is an advanced feature that S3 has? S3 supports? Wow, very good, Arun. S3 supports static website hosting. So, can we say that S3 is cheaper than EC2? Definitely. Definitely cheaper than EC2. S3 is server based or serverless?
Serverless.
Serverless. Great, yeah, you remember all this concept. Very good. Okay. So in S3, what are the containers called?
Object.
Buckets.
Object.
So if So here, what is bucket? And we say that bucket meaning it's a container of objects. What is object?
Folder.
Object is a file. What is a key?
Key is a name of the
Name
file.
of the object is called a.
Name of the object.
Yes, we have learned all these things already, right? Yes. So guys, let us talk more about here buckets. Buckets. Okay. So by the way, guys, first of all, see, we finish so many services, S3, EC2, CloudWatch, Lightsail. These are all global services or regional services.
It's
EC2 and all.
regional.
EC2 is regional, but remember guys, S3 is global. S3 is global. Certification question. S3 is global. Let me talk about the buckets. But guys, S3 is global, but buckets are regional. You can create the buckets in every region, each region if you want. So buckets are regional. S3 guys, S3 doesn't have any region. S3 as a service, if you go on top, guys in IAM, do you have any region to select in IAM dashboard? 9%? No. In S3 also same thing. You don't have any region to select there. S3 is global, but when you creating a bucket, you have an option to select in which region you want to create the bucket. So S3 as a service, it is global, and S3 buckets are completely regional. Buckets are regional. So that meaning you can create, let's say like this. You can create bucket 1 in Mumbai, and you can create a bucket 2 in Ireland. But remember, the entire S3 is global. And also guys, very good thing is here, whenever you create any buckets like this, all the buckets in different region will be seen in one place only. Whereas in EC2, if you create any EC2 instance in Ireland and Mumbai, can we see it in one place?
No.
No. But whereas here in S3, all the buckets in different region is visible in a single place. You can easily see like bucket 1 is in Mumbai, bucket 2 is in Ireland. And also guys, buckets are bucket names. Guys, whenever you are creating a bucket, you should give the name, na? That my bucket names are universal or it should be unique. All certification question. Bucket names are universal or unique. Meaning, if you create a bucket called test in my account, can Babji can create the same with the same name bucket in his account? No. Guys, bucket names are universal or unique. It is not only for your account, it is universal, meaning throughout the world. So many bucket names like test 1, 2, 3, my bucket, your bucket, COVID bucket, and all kind of nasty names, QWR, TW, all these common things. Bucket names might have already chosen. We cannot create with those bucket names because someone have already took it. So it is all the time better to create a bucket based on the project name or based on some prefixes or based on from some unique name. Okay, so bucket names are universal or it should be unique. So guys, in IAM we have learned about groups, na? We learn about groups, right? Is it possible to create group under group, nested groups?
Yes.
No, na. Here also same, no nested bucket concept. Bucket under bucket cannot be created. No nested buckets. Bucket under bucket cannot be created. So bucket under bucket meaning under you have one bucket, inside that we create a folder, that will be a folder, it will not become as a bucket. Bucket will be only one. Inside that you have subfolders. You cannot call that subfolder as also a bucket. No. Bucket and a bucket is not possible. Guys, is it possible to create multiple buckets in different regions? Definitely yes. So you can create multiple buckets in different regions. You can create functions. So maximum number of buckets you can create in S3 is 100. Soft limit. Maximum number of buckets you can create in S3 is 100. Guys, that is a soft limit. So if you want to increase it, you can create a ticket with AWS and then you can increase it. Another important question, guys. By default, if you create a bucket, that bucket will be public or private? Excellent. Remember our rule, everything by default is private only. By default, buckets are private. If required, you can make it public. You can make it. If required, you can make it bigger. Guys, in your hostel, I think most of the people are living in hostel. In hostel, if you get your new bucket, that bucket will be private. Yes, for that particular time it will be private. So, but after some time that bucket will be private or it will be public in your hostel room?
Public.
Yes, it will be public. Yeah. So Babji is asking, what is the size of the bucket? What is the size of the bucket? Unlimited. What is that? Unlimited. Right. Okay, so guys, here let's see. I am creating a bucket here. So let's say, for example, this is the bucket. So this is private. This is my private bucket, and this is my private bucket. And the bucket name is, I call it as 9 AM bucket, for example. And this bucket I can create it in some region, right? So let's say I created in Mumbai region bucket. What is the bucket name here? 9 AM bucket. Inside this I created a folder called photos. Inside these photos I have uploaded an object called puppy.jpg. Okay, so in your Google Drive, if you have uploaded any document, that each and every document will have the URL to access, endpoint to access.
Yes.
Yes, the same way here also, guys, for every object you will have something called endpoint. What you call endpoint. We call this endpoint, or you can call it as URL also. Okay, let me give an example how this endpoint looks like. So this like http:// 9 AM bucket : s dot s3 dot amazonaws.com /photos /puppy.jpg. Right, this is how it looks like. Guys, what is this first thing called?
URL.
This is called, what is this called? Yes, this is called bucket name. So you will get a certification question like it's an URL, and will ask what is the bucket name here. This is the bucket name, and this, the entire thing, S3 blah blah, this something here till here, what do we call? We call it as domain. Very good. Domain. And this one is called, this photos. What is this photos called? Folder. But here we don't call it as folder, we have a name, something called prefix. What do we call here? Prefix. Prefix is nothing but subfolder. Subfolder. Right? And then and then what is this called? Puppy.jpg? Object. This is called object. And this guy, .jpg. .jpg. This is called suffix, extension, or we call it as suffix. Guys, if you want to access or search your entire your URL, you should know that subfolder also. Now, without subfolder, is it possible to get the object? No. So that meaning here, so the entire thing we call it as key. Entire thing we call it as key. This is how it is formulated. So guys, by seeing this URL, you should say easily what is the bucket name, what is the domain, what is the object, what is the prefix, what is the key, and what is the suffix. Guys, is this clear till here, everyone?
Yes. Go daddy.
Yeah. And keep this in mind. Guys, S3 is used for only the storage purpose. Yes or no? Right? So, will you be writing all the time or will you be reading most of the time? S3 is mostly for write purpose or read purpose. You can write it also, but mostly we'll be using for read purpose. And that's why we call it as S3 is warm model. Warm model. Warm model meaning write once, read many times. Read many. So keep this in mind. Whenever you're putting in S3, don't think it as this is like a database all the time you go and access it. Right? So this is like, your Google Drive only. Google Drive, will you keep on writing or will you write once and read many times? Same thing. It is a warm model also. Yes. Okay. So if it is clear till here, let's jump on to the next topic. Here we have next thing, what we call it is here, versioning. What is this, guys? Versioning. What is versioning? Anyone? What is version? Duplicate, upgrade, old to new model. Okay, so yeah, like a backup. Oh, rightly said. So guys, whenever you are uploading any objects or any files inside this S3, let's say for example you have uploaded a file called index.html and someone has modified that index.html and you have uploaded it. So if you enable the versioning in the backend, so those version files will be created, right? So can we say that versioning is like a backup tool? If something goes wrong with your object, can you restore it back from the versioning? Yes? Yes, you can restore it like that. So I'll give an example, don't worry. Yes. So versioning is like a backup tool. It's like a backup tool. Yes, remember by default, versioning is not enabled on the bucket. Remember, by default, versioning is not enabled by the default on your bucket. If required, you can enable it. Otherwise, leave it. So by default, is it enabled? Certification question, guys. By default, versioning is enabled on the bucket. No. And one question for you guys here, see. Do you need to enable the versioning on the bucket level or object level? Let's say for example, okay, I know you will be answering object, but the thing is here, guys, if you have millions of objects, will you go and enable versioning for millions of objects one by one?
No.
Difficult, na? So which one is better? Is it be better? Yes, then bucket level. So keep this in mind, certification question. versioning is enabled on bucket level, but applied on object level. Guys, every versioning, the backend will have its own unique ID. Every version will have its own unique ID. Yes or no? Yes. So here, version ID is always unique. Let me give an example here. I am creating a bucket here. This is a bucket. Okay. So this bucket name is, let's say for example, versioning demo BKT something. Well, this is a bucket, guys. And at the time of creating the bucket, I can enable the versioning now. So yes, by default, if you don't enable it, it will not be there. Anytime you can enable. So what I do is here, versioning enable. I have enabled the versioning while creating the bucket. Okay, so versioning is enabled for the bucket. Now let's say for example, now I have uploaded. So I have uploaded an object called puppy.jpg. I have uploaded object puppy.jpg. When I uploaded this puppy.jpg, can you tell me guys here, version will be created?
No. Yeah, it will get created.
Okay. Let's see. Yes.
Yes, because already we have enabled it.
Guys, so when I try to upload, version 1 will be created. When I try to modify this and then try to upload it again, meaning version 2 will be created and version 3 will be created. So based on how many times I have modified, those many versions will be created. Here, can you tell me which one is the latest version, V1, V2 or V3? V3 is the latest version. So like this, guys, how many times you have uploaded the same object. If the thing is, it should be the same object, name should be the same, but the content can be different. If the content can be different, the version files will be created. If it is different file, let's say for example, I have uploaded something called index.html, and it's also having versioning. So again, version 1, version 2 and version 3, and version 3 is the latest one here. Latest version. Okay guys, what is the power of versioning? Okay, now let's say for example, someone has went and deleted your original object. Someone went and then deleted your original object. Is it possible to restore from this versioning? That is the concept of versioning, na? That is the concept of versioning. If someone has deleted the object intentionally or unintentionally, keep this in mind. For the latest version, in the versioning, there will be a marker called delete marker will be applied. What marker is applied, guys? Delete marker is applied. So delete marker is applied. That meaning, whenever you see delete marker for any version, you have to confirm that, guarantee that your original object got deleted. Whenever the original object got deleted, delete marker will be created for your latest version. And it's very easy to restore it. How to restore it? Guys, simply what you do is, you delete this delete marker. The file will be restored back to your normal page. Your file will be restored. So that meaning, if you delete this latest version, delete marker, so the original file will be restored. This is how you will restore the data from your S3. Delete, yes, Bobby, right. So delete the delete marker, the object will be restored. Guys, question for you here. So version files can be downloaded? Definitely yes. Version files can be downloaded. I can download version 3, version 2, version 1. Anytime I can download and I can upload. So let's say for example, you don't want the latest version and I want to have version 1. You download that version 1, you upload it again. It's up to you. You can download anytime. But remember, whenever there is a delete marker for the latest version, that cannot be downloaded. Delete marker can be only be deleted. It cannot be downloaded. Rest of all versions can be downloaded. Here, so versioning files can be downloaded anytime. And let me write this also for you. Guys, if you delete the original object, delete marker is applied on the latest version, right? So if you want the object to be restored, what you do? Delete the delete marker and your object is restored. Is it possible to download the delete marker? You cannot download delete marker version. You can only delete it. Okay now? Right. So now, and also you have provision, guys. Here, you anytime you can go and suspend the versioning also. Anytime you can go and suspend versioning. So you can, let's say for example, what happened if you have suspended the versioning? Guys, if you upload any new object after the versioning is suspended, will the versioning will be created? No, versioning cannot be created. So if you have versioning suspended and if you have uploaded any new object, if it is deleted, can I restore it back? There is no versioning? No, there is. You cannot do that. So if anytime you can go and enable the versioning, anytime you can go and suspend the versioning. But keep this in mind. So once you have enabled the versioning, you cannot disable it, but you can suspend it. You can suspend it. Once you have enabled the versioning, you cannot disable it. You can suspend it. Guys, enabling, suspending, both are same concept, but somehow in S3 you don't have a concept of disabling, but you have a concept called suspend. What is suspend meaning? Suspend for only temporary purpose unless you go and enable it again. Guys, keep this in mind. You have, let's say, let me give a question. You have 1 terabyte of backup, one single file. Will you enable versioning for that? Keep this in mind. Don't enable versioning, but you can enable it. But AWS not just for versioning. So be careful while you enable versioning for huge files. So if you have enabled the versioning for 1 terabyte and the versionings will be created another 1 terabyte, you need to pay double. There. Guys, question for you here. See, so after the suspension, let's say for example, I am uploading a file called. Can you give me some file name? Some Python file. Okay, hello.py Python file. Okay. So whenever you have, okay, now let's say you have uploaded hello.python file there after the versioning is suspended. Guys, can you tell me backend versioning will be created? How many times you have updated the hello.py? No backups will be created. But keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Whenever you uploaded a new file after the suspension also, latest version will be there. Latest version will be there. Yes. Latest version will be there. And whenever you delete marker will also be applied. Delete marker will also be applied. But the thing is here, if you delete the delete marker, will it be restored?
No.
If you delete the delete marker, the file will be restored. If you delete the delete marker, file will not be restored. You cannot restore the file because you have purposefully suspended it. If you have suspended it, how come you can expect the restoration there? No. There's a question. It also doing same thing. No, sir, yes. How we can differ these two things while coming together? This is just chumma for S3 only. It is for many things. It can do a lot. It has commit. It has a pull, right, push, and then branches. So many things. But S3 doesn't have all those things. It's just a backup. That's all. It's just a small backup of your object. That's all. Getting it, guys? Is this clear? Let me write this suspension. Whenever we do the practicals, guys, don't worry. We will do all kind of permutations and combinations. So you might have a question here. So let's say, for example, versioning is suspended, and this is happening. And what will happen to puppy.jpg? Guys, whenever you delete puppy.jpg, if your versioning is suspended, is it possible to restore puppy.jpg?
No.
Answer is yes. Answer is yes, you can. So guys, those objects which are uploaded at the time of versioning, their properties will be same as versioning enabled. Right? All this kind of permutation combination, we will see that. Don't worry. Okay. So I'll write it here. If you upload an object after the versioning is suspended, the latest version will be created as usual. Latest version will be created as usual. But if you update the original object, versioning files are not created. Yes? Are not created. So again here, if you delete the original object, delete marker will be applied. If you delete the marker, guys, object will be restored. Object will not be restored. Keep this in mind. Is this clear on versioning concept, guys? When we do the lab, we'll see all these kind of funny things there, Yeah. Versioning is not enabled. Will it allow to modify existing? Why not? Yes. If versioning is not enabled, will it allow to modify existing object? You don't have option to modify on S3. You will be downloaded locally, you modify it, and you need to upload it again. There is no opportunity where you can go and edit or exit or modify on S3 directly. You download, upload, like this. Okay, very good. Okay. Now, very important. Everyone knows that S3 is unlimited storage. Yes? S3 is unlimited storage. But there are few things that you need to concentrate here. Guys, minimum object size. Minimum object size. What is the minimum object size? Is you can have 0 bytes, right? And maximum object size can be 5 terabyte. What is the maximum object size, guys? Minimum object size is 0 bytes and maximum object size. One single object can be up to how much? 5 terabyte. So index.html one index.html can be up to 5 terabytes. You might say, sir, you said S3 is unlimited, but why it is mentioning here 5 terabytes? Guys, I'm talking about for single object, maximum size is 5 terabyte. But you can have n number of objects in single bucket. Yes or no? One object size is 5 terabyte and you can have n number of objects inside a single bucket. That meaning it is unlimited. It is unlimited. Okay. Single, okay. Maximum object size, you can put it here. But guys, is it possible to upload? Is it possible to upload this 5 terabyte in single shot to S3? Definitely no. Okay, where is the spelling mistakes? Guys, please ignore the spelling mistakes. Sometimes it will be a typo. Doesn't mean that I don't know. Where is the spelling mistake? Manojit? Anyways, yeah. But remember guys, for single put, whenever you are uploading any object, maximum can be 5 terabyte. But remember, for single put, you can upload maximum 5 GB only. We can create data. Acha, here, hey, come on, yeah. Okay. Guys, for a single put, okay, someone has done something here. Okay, so for single put, you can upload maximum of 5 GB. Maximum of 5 GB. I will explain you the question here. See guys here. Maximum object, right? Maximum object, yes, maximum object can be 5 terabyte. But in single put, when you are uploading any files, when your object in SD, in single shot you can upload only 5 GB only. But there is an option in S3 is giving a super tool called, there is a tool called multi-path upload. Multi-path upload. In shortcut, you can put MPU. Multi-path upload. What this multi-path upload will do is, if you have 5 terabytes, you can break the files into small objects. You can break the files into small objects, right? So once you break the files into small objects, small files, and then you can, when you are trying to upload, let's say if you have 5 terabytes, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5, file 10. Like this, you can break the single file into multiple like modules, like chunk files, and then you can upload it. And if you ask me the question, sir, how do I break my file? So this multi-part upload facility, this will help you to break the files into multiple modules and chunk files, and then you can upload, whereas you can upload up to 5 terabyte files. But in single put, maximum you can upload 5 GB only. And AWS recommend not for 5 GB. AWS recommend if you have greater than 100 MB, AWS recommend to use MPU, multi-part upload. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear, everyone? Great. Any questions? So the next concept what I have is a big concept. I cannot, but I can. Let's go for it. How it is S3 differ from Google Drive? Google Drive is from Google, S3 is from AWS. Yeah, but Google Drive doesn't have so many features, but S3 has so many features. But the main purpose of both of them are same, storing the data. Yes, features are different. Guys, important, see here. So next one today we talk about here is storage classes. Right? You can do that also. Prasad. Maybe Mazhar, maybe no, snapshot was an EC2 level, na? Yes. Yeah. So guys, here storage classes. Basically, this is a little bit bigger concept, but I doubt whether I can finish it in half an hour. But let's try. Yeah. So guys, keep this in mind. While you are uploading the objects into S3, selecting a storage class is mandatory. Selecting a storage class is mandatory. Storage class meaning, let's say there are different types of storage class. Let me put that first. But remember, while uploading the object into S3, selecting the storage class is mandatory. It's mandatory. So there are different type of storage classes. Like say for example, there is a, remember I gave an example of Pani Puri guy in EC2 pricing models. The same way here also we have the pricing models, guys, the pricing models. So there is firstly, initially there we had only 3 storage classes. Number 1 is standard frequently access, standard infrequently access, and glacier. There are only 3 storage classes based on the customers. Let me go with one by one here. Standard, what is the first storage class, guys? Standard frequently access. In shortcut, put it as A. Standard frequently access. Standard frequently access. So this is a storage class. While you are uploading an object, guys, keep this in mind. While you are uploading an object, selecting one of the storage class is mandatory, right? So if you are planning to access the objects frequently, right? If you are accessing the objects frequently, then go for this standard frequently access storage class. So when do you use this storage class? So this storage class is used when if you want to use the data frequently from S3. Guys, so this is used for frequently access data. Right? We have uploaded some data inside S3 and you want to frequently accessing it. Then which storage class that you should choose it? Guys, frequently access storage class. And also, this is the default storage class. Which one is the default storage class? This is a certification question. Which one is the default storage class? When you are uploading any object into S3, if you don't care, if you put a default one, the default one is always standard frequently access storage class. And this storage class will be used for your regular purpose. Regular purpose. Regular purpose meaning if for your websites, or for all your images, files, you can store it for storage purpose. Everything you can use this standard frequently access. Question for you. If I am regularly accessing it, if AWS put some retrieval charges, AWS is putting the retrieval charges. Guys, retrieval charges meaning what? Whenever you upload, there will be a price. And whenever you download also, will there be any price for frequently accessed data? If you are accessing frequently? No. Keep this in mind. no retrieval charges for frequently access. No retrieval charges for frequently access. This is a one storage class. And next storage class here is called standard infrequently storage class. Standard infrequently access. In shortcut, put as IA. Standard infrequently. You might have already understood what is this storage class about. Right? So, yes, standard infrequently access. Standard infrequently access meaning if the data is not accessed frequently, this is used for infrequently accessed data, which is not frequently accessed. For example, you have your photos or you have your back files. Guys, you have, let's say, for example, backup files. Backup files will be used frequently?
No.
No. Backup files are not used frequently. And any data which is not frequently used, you can select this one. And what is the difference between these things, guys? It is cheaper. It is cheaper than frequently accessed. It is cheaper than frequently accessed. You might think that, sir, this is cheaper than frequently accessed. Nah, I will select standard infrequently and I will access it frequently. Is that possible? Keep this in mind. For infrequently, you have retrieval charges apply. Retrieval charges apply. If it is retrieval charges apply, will you able to frequently access it? No. S3 is chargeable. Definitely, it is not a free service. But keep this in mind, guys. So it will retrieval charges apply, and as it is infrequently accessed, don't think that you will not retrieve the data immediately. Yes, you can retrieve. You will have a demand rapid access. Rapid access. Whenever you want, immediately you will get it. Immediately you will get it. But retrieval charges will be applied. Guys, do you understood when to use frequently access and when to use infrequently access? So customer 1 came. So customer 1 came and said that, hey AWS S3, I want to access the data. I want to put my data in S3. And AWS says that, okay, go and select the first storage class. And that customer will select the first storage class frequently access, and then he put the data, he will pay for that. Let's say, for example, he's paying 10 rupees. Or let's say he pays 100 rupees. The second customer where he'll say that, hey AWS, I want to also put the data. Okay, AWS says that use first one. And he's using the second customer is using the first one, but first customer is using frequently, but second customer is accessing the data only weekly once. But this guy is also paying 100 rupees and this guy also paying 100 rupees. Is that good? Is that justice? No. So that's the reason customer 2 has asked AWS, hey AWS, customer 1 is using it regularly and is paying 100 rupees. I am not using regularly, why you need to pay 100 rupees? That's the reason why AWS has implemented this infrequently access. If you are not using access, if you are not using frequently, why to pay unnecessarily 100 rupees? Select this infrequently access and pay and get very good discounts there. This is good. And now another customer came, and he is saying that, hey AWS, I want to access it frequently. Guys, if the customer says he want to access it frequently, which one do you suggest? FA or IA?
FA.
FA. But this customer is saying that, okay, I'll access it frequently, but my data is not critical. But my data is not critical. So on the frequently accessed data is critical. That meaning all the data is responsible by the AWS. But this guy is saying that, hey, I want to frequently access this, but AWS, you don't worry about my data. If something goes wrong also, I'm fine. Arey, how are you saying this? But give me a little more about discount. This is what the customer is asking for. So for this kind of customer, there is another storage class introduced. This is called reduced So reduce redundancy, then see, storage. Reduce redundancy storage, RRS. What do we call in shortcut? We call it as RRS. Reduce redundancy storage. So reduce redundancy storage is the one for that kind of customer where you want to access it frequently, but the data is not critical. So here I put it as frequently access but not critical. But not critical. So if you have this kind of requirement, then go for reduced redundancy storage. But guys, as it is frequently access storage, that meaning do you have any retrieval charges? No retrieval charges. And guys, also AWS does not recommend this. AWS does not recommend to use this storage class. Because reduce redundancy, AWS doesn't want, guys, AWS doesn't want not to have the data just vanish it off just like that. So AWS will not allow you, AWS will not recommend, basically not recommend to go for reduce redundancy storage, RRS, because there is a low, there will be definitely a low availability and durability in this reduced redundancy concepts. But definitely it is cheaper than others. Based on requirement, you need to use this. And guys, frequently access but not critical. And by seeing this, another customer has came up. That guy says that frequently, first one is frequently critical, and this one is frequently not critical. And this is second one is infrequently critical, and then the other guy is also coming saying that infrequently but not critical. So for this kind of thing, there is another one called one zone IA. One zone IA. What is the storage class that we have here? One zone IA. This one zone IA is basically same thing here. Infrequently, not critical. Infrequently access, but not critical. Guys, as it is infrequently, we have retrieval charges.
Yes.
Definitely, we have the retrieval charges. Definitely, we have the retrieval charges. See, they're coming with a different kind of requirements. They are coming with different kind of requirements. And by seeing all these four, another customer 5 has in serious doubt. Yes, Ujjwala. Customer 5 is in serious doubt. Customer 5 is telling AWS that AWS, I understood frequently access, infrequently access. Frequently access not critical, infrequently access not critical, but I have different requirement. That customer is saying that I don't know what type of data I'll be accessing. I don't know what type of access I should be doing. That meaning I don't know whether I want to access it frequently, I don't know whether I want to access it infrequently. I don't know. For these kind of things, AWS has implemented another storage class called intelligent tiering. Intelligent tiering. Intelligent tiering. Intelligent tiering meaning unknown access patterns. He don't know how when he will be accessing it. So based on how he accessing it, it should change automatically. That is why we have here something called unknown access patterns. Unknown access patterns. Just getting it? Unknown access patterns. And finally, you have final one. You have something called Glacier. The final one is Glacier. You know Glacier? What is the Glacier is for? It is for, is it frequently accessed or infrequently accessed? infrequently accessed. Infrequently accessed data. Infrequently accessed data. And this is used for archiving purpose, as you know. Charges will be there. Definitely charges will be there. Archiving purpose. And guys, in S3 we have something, we have what is a container called in S3? Bucket. But here in Glacier, the container we call it as vault. What is that called, guys? Everyone say this, vault. And what vault contains? Vault contains archives. Vault contain archives. How does the bucket contain objects? The same way here, vault contains archives. What is vault? Simply, I would say this container of archives. Container of archives. What is archives? Archives is nothing but your objects. Your objects, your archives, all this called here archives. The file, the zip files, guys, the zip file. The zip file, the war file, all these things called here archives. You know one good thing? What is the maximum object size in S3? Maximum object size 5 terabyte. Na? Here one archive can be up to 40 GB. How much is this? One archive is 40 GB. Like this, you can have unlimited number of archives. Unlimited number of archives. And like this, you can have 1000 vault. And definitely retrieval charges apply. Definitely retrieval charges apply. Sorry. Got this, guys? And here for retrieving from Glacier, you cannot retrieve just like that. We have something called Glacier has retrieval options. Glacier has retrieval options. Glacier has retrieval options. Guys, these are all certification questions. So Glacier has retrieval options. Number one is expedited. Expedited. Second one is standard. And third one is bulk. So we have this 3 different retrieval options. So expedited meaning, guys, if you need very fast, if you need 1 to 5, if you need to get the data with 1 to 5 minutes, go with expedited. And if you need the data which will take, to use standard, it will take 5 to 5 hours. And for bulk, if you need huge data, it will take 5 to 12 hours to retrieve. 5 to 12 hours to retrieve. These are the different types of Glacier options that we have it. And it is chargeable. Guys, is this clear till here, everyone?
कंपनी वाले कलेक्ट फ्रीडम की गारंटी नहीं लेते क्या? किसकी? कलेक्ट फ्रीडम की नहीं लेते क्या तो गारंटी? तो फिर क्या करना? उसको भी एडजस्ट करके दूसरे दवा डाल के देता हूँ, थोड़े बहुत होते खर्चा आ गया। हाँ।
Nice. So, now I would like to ask you one question. What is availability? What is availability?
इनसा भी काम करेंगे, कुछ तो भी प्रॉब्लम हो। पर लिए गाड़ी ब्लू अब तक 2 साल में आता है। कुछ भी नहीं। धक्का देने।
What is availability?
धक्का देने लगा ऐसा कुछ प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं है।
Can I say availability meaning any time which is available for you? Right, any time. Yes, that is availability. And what is durability? durability is, I
फैसलाबाद
would
जाके
say,
आता हूँ
long
ये
time.
गाड़ी पे
How long it is available?
12 बजे तक ही नहीं आओ वाला गाड़ी आ रहा है
How long
इससे
it is
पहले आने की कोशिश
available.
करता हूँ
So for
मतलब
each
फोन
and every
मारते हैं बच्चे
storage
को
class,
बुलाते
when you
हैं
are
उसको भी
putting the
लेके
data
तो
into the storage
बच्चा
classes,
आया था
you
गाड़ी
have
की गाड़ी
you
देता
need
मैं
to
गाड़ी
know
ले लेके
availability and durability concept, which is sometimes
अगर
it
मैं
will be a
12 बजे तक नहीं आया
certification
तो फोन
question.
मारता हूँ
So
जाके
let
ले
me
लेके
put
आता
this
हूँ ऑफिस का भी
availability and
देना जाके
durability
इसको ये
for
लेके
each and
जाना
every
हाँ वो ले लेके जाता अंदर एक स्लिप
availability
कोशिश करना आ जाता हूँ देखो ये
and
स्लिप
then
दिया
durability.
कार्ड बना के
So guys, availability for here is
पैसे पूछा तो कार्ड से पेमेंट करेंगे अपन
99.99%. It will be available. And how long it is available? It is 99.999999. Instead of 10, we call it as 11 nines. So the data will be available. The availability, the durability, what is giving is 11 nines. 11 nines. And here, availability is 99.9% only, because it is infrequently accessed, and durability is 11 nines. And for this, availability 99.99%, and durability has decreased 99.99%. From 11 nines, it has decreased to 99.99. For one zone, availability is only a single availability zone. One zone, it's 99.5%. Durability, again, it is 11.9. And for here, availability is 99.99%. No, it's 99.9%, and it is 11 nines. And for glacier, availability
गाड़ी
meaning
को एक हेलमेट का लॉक भी डलाएंगे
99%,
डला तो
and durability will be there
हाँ,
forever.
वो दी
That meaning
लगा के
11.
रख दिया तो
लटका ले सकते होना जरूरी है
Guys, you understood? So these are all the durabilities, availabilities, and durabilities of each and every storage class. One question for you guys here again. Okay, now let me give you an example that you have some data. I usually give this hospital example. In hospital, how many types of patients are there? I know you say this answer.
कोरोना ब्लैक फंगस
Yes, two types of patients. What are those? Inpatient and outpatient, not the number of people there. Inpatient and then outpatient. So inpatient meaning what? Who is admitted, and outpatient meaning who has just got the treatment and just left. So inpatient data, guys, inpatient data, let's say there is a receptionist there, right? Inpatient data, can you tell me in which storage class she will be putting this inpatient data? Frequently accessed. And outpatient data also frequently accessed. Now, outpatient data, let's say after 1 week, is it what you recommend to put it in frequently or infrequently after 1 week, this outpatient data? Infrequently. What is the use of keeping it in frequently? Because the outpatient guy will never come back again. So inpatient data, he will keep it in frequently accessed. Maybe that inpatient guy who has went out, discharged. So will he come back? Will he come back again to access the data? No. So here the thing is here, there should be a chance to move the object from one storage class to another storage class. Is it possible to move the object from one storage class to another storage class? Yes. So it is possible here in S3 to move the one storage class to another storage class. And how do we move that? Is it possible to move the one single object from one storage class to another storage class? No. It is not possible to move millions of objects from one storage class to another storage class. For that, there is an automated process from S3 which is called life cycle management. What is that called, guys? life cycle management. So with this life cycle management, by creating some rules, yes, it is possible to move the objects from one storage class to another storage box by creating what? Life cycle rule. Yes, LCM. Life cycle rules. Life cycle rules. But to move objects from one storage class to another storage class, there is a small, minimum object size is required. So guys, for frequently access, what is the minimum object size for frequently access? Come on. What is the minimum object size? Minimum object size. 0 bytes. What is the minimum object size there? 0 bytes. So, but to move the object to standard infrequently access, their minimum object should be, the size should be 128 KB, very important guys, and then minimum duration should be 30 days. That meaning the object should be there in S3 for 30 days if you want to move, this to infrequently access. And there is no object size for this one zone IA. Again, minimum object size is 128 KB and minimum duration is 30 days here. And here there is no minimum object size, it can be 0, and minimum duration should be 30 days here. But and here the minimum duration would be it should be 90 days. It should be 90 days. Guys, there is another storage class also which is launched by the AWS, which is called Deeper Glacier, I think. Deeper Glacier, which we need 180 days, I think. But we see it in lab. Deeper Glacier meaning itself is like, it's like a graveyard. So Deeper Glacier meaning even more you go and do an archive. Guys, you understood this? So what is this life cycle rules? What is this life cycle management? How do we do and all? We will see that tomorrow. Let's take photos. Let me know once done. Second one. The last one. Great. Okay. Yeah, take the first one. Okay guys, great. So can you give me the final CC for today on these topics? Thanks, Piyush. Guys, you can, Babji can put it in the group. You can go to first page, go to last page, go to first page, go to last page. Okay. Which one? First page or last page? Put in the group so everyone relaxes. Okay guys, so that is all for today, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care, bye bye. Have a nice day. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.